Hello and welcome to the Stretford End. This is the last video of the season. Even though our season is now over, there's still a lot to talk about. One of the main things that's come out that everyone seems to be talking about today is that the Quater Group, are they ready to pull the plug and walk away from Manchester United? Let's hope that's not the case. But this has been going on for months, the whole takeover situation. We all know it was never going to be a quick process. We know there's only been two people who've been interested in buying Manchester United, and that was the Quater Group and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I think the Glazers expected a lot more interest, and now it seems like the Quater Group are getting fed up of just waiting around, and there isn't anything official on this at the moment. It is all just talk. There's a lot of talk coming from different sources, and I think my personal opinion is this: I think the Glazers have made up their mind weeks ago, and they always wanted Sir Jim Ratcliffe as the number one choice, and they were just waiting until the end of the season to make an announcement. I hope I'm wrong. But now the season is now over, I think we will now see official announcements coming from Manchester United, probably over the next few weeks. And then the Glazers may come out and say that they've decided to sell to the Quater Group, and let's hope that is the case, because we all want the full sale to happen. But I think there's a lot of United fans now thinking the same as me, that the Glazers are staying. And they're bringing in Sir Jim Ratcliffe as an investor. What have happened at the club? We can't be turning our backs on Manchester United. I'm reading a lot of comments coming from Manchester United fans saying that if the Glazers don't sell, that they're going to support, that they are going to support another team. And the one thing I would say to these fans is go and support another team, go and jump ship, go and be a glory hunter, go and support another team, because they're clearly not they're clearly not genuine Manchester United fans, and none of us want the Glazers to stay. We all want the full sale, but it doesn't. If it doesn't happen, we can't turn our backs on Manchester United. If the Glazers stay, I won't be buying the new Manchester United shirt off the official Manchester United website. I won't be buying any merchandise off the official Manchester United website if the Glazers stay, because we all know it's still going to be putting money into Glazers' pockets. But when it comes down to on the pitch, we need to make sure as fans that we're supporting Erik ten Hag and supporting the players. Those comments I just made, they may not go down too well with some Manchester United fans, but I'm sure there are going to be a lot of Manchester United fans out there who will agree with the points that I just made on that situation. Anyway, let's move on to something a bit more positive. Me and Gavin briefly talked about this on Saturday, but I want to talk a bit more on how I feel, how our season has gone. We've had a very good season. Erik ten Hag has come in. It's his first season as Manchester United manager. He's done a brilliant job this season. He's got the players playing well. He's got us back into Champions League football. We've won our first trophy. In 6 years. The performance in the FA Cup final against Man City on Saturday was poor. The players didn't turn up. There was a lot of hype about we wanted to stop them from winning the treble. A lot of that came from the fans. The players should have believed that they wanted to win. The players should have had the belief that they wanted to go and beat Man City on Saturday. But it's like I say, it's still been a very good season. There's been more positives than negatives, and I think Erik ten Hag he is going to bring a lot more success on the pitch to years to come. There are changes going to be made. That need to be made as players need to be sold. We need a big summer transfer window. We need to spend at least £200 million in the summer transfer window. The question mark of that, is that going to happen? The question mark over that still remains. We definitely need a forward. I think we've seen that more than once this season. I think we've relied on players like Marcus Rashford too much this season. Marcus Rashford, he's had an outstanding season. For me, he's been one of the players who's actually stepped up and proved why he should be playing in this Manchester United team. But we are going to need a massive. We need a big. There needs to be a lot of work that needs to be done over the summer. There's players that need to go. And there's talk about there's been a lot of fans that come out and said that over the last couple of days, saying that they want David De Gea needs to go. He's no longer good enough to play in this Manchester United team. I'm hearing, I don't know how true this is, but I'm hearing he will probably sign a new contract with Manchester United. And yeah, there has been games where David De Gea has had really, really poor performances. I will agree with that. There has been games where he's been poor. But I also think what I also think is important to remember is that there's also been games where he's kept us in games, and games that we've gone on to win. The one thing with David De Gea is he's not really had any competition, and I think he's been a bit too relaxed in that position, which is where which will maybe explain why a bit of inconsistency in his performances has crept in at times. But you could say that about our defence. Before we signed Martinez, Harry Maguire was constantly in this Manchester United team. I know there's a lot of United fans out there who don't rate Harry Maguire, myself included, and but at that time there was nobody else good enough to come in and challenge Harry Maguire, which is why he was being picked week in, week out. But that'll definitely need to change. But going back to what I said about we need to sign the forward. There's been a lot of talk about Harry Kane over the last couple of months. Would he want to join Manchester United? There's some sources saying out there that he would want to stay in the Premier League. Other sources saying that now Benzema has left Real Madrid, that he's now been heavily linked with Real Madrid. Look, Harry Kane, he's a Premier League proven player. He's an excellent excellent player. You just got you got to see what he does at Spurs. The proof is there. And if it did happen and he come to Manchester United, I do think it would be the missing piece of that jigsaw that Erik ten Hag needs, because he would come into this Manchester United team. He would have an immediate impact because he's Premier League proven. He would bring a massive amount of confidence into this Manchester United team, and I think the way that if we signed Harry Kane, we would see a different style of. I think we'd definitely see a different style of the way we played next season. But I also think we also need to be realistic. Would Spurs sell Harry Kane to Manchester United? They see us as a Premier League rival, so would they sell Harry Kane to Manchester United? We don't know. But if Manchester United put a £150 million bid on the table, would that be, would they turn down that offer? There's been a lot of people saying that Harry Kane wants to win trophies. Would he see that at Manchester United? Would he think, would he think if I go to Manchester United, am I going to win the Premier League within my first season? Again, this is what I think. We've had a fantastic season. We've got ourselves back into the Champions League. That was always the main priority of the season, to get ourselves back into the Champions League. We've won a trophy, and Erik ten Hag, I believe he can take this team. I believe with the right type of players, he can take this Manchester United team forward, and he can and we can challenge, and we can become title contenders again. But next season is definitely going to be improvements. We're Manchester United. We can't be a team who is satisfied. We're just finishing in the top four season after season, making sure we get in Champions League football. There needs to be some kind of progression. There's been progression this season where we won a trophy, we got ourselves back into the Champions League. Next season, let's take that step forward. And then I'll sit here and say that we're going to go and win the Champions League next season, and we're going to go and win the Premier League, because I still think there's work to be done within this Manchester United team, and it's going to take 2 or 3 transfer windows for Erik ten Hag to get it right. Erik ten Hag is going to get it wrong. Sir Alex Ferguson got it wrong in some of his players that he signed. Erik ten Hag is going to get it wrong. He may bring in players who aren't good enough to play for Manchester United, and he's going to have to deal with those mistakes. And when they do happen, he's going to have to deal with the mistakes. When the questions are asked in the press conferences, he's going to have to deal with that like Sir Alex Ferguson did years ago. But I also think Erik ten Hag will get it right, but it will take a few transfer windows. You know, we knew with the state that the football club was in that it was never going to be a quick fix. And it is going to take time. It's going to take 2 or 3 transfer windows for Erik ten Hag to bring the play he wants. And I think Erik ten Hag has got a vision, and this is what we want to see, and this is something we haven't seen since Sir Alex Ferguson. And I'm reading stories already that Erik ten Hag is demanding the players to come in early, and he wants these players to come in now. So he's got these players ready and he wants these players on the tour, and this is something that should be happening. This is something that we haven't seen for years. We've always been very, very slow when it comes to transfers. We've always taken a long period of time to get these deals over the line. This is something that's got to change this summer. We can't be spending weeks and weeks and weeks spending weeks talking to different teams trying to get a lower price because we think we can get them on the cheap, because that's always backfired over recent seasons. And I'm not saying that we should be going out and sort of overspending on players, but I think a lot of this is going to be down to Erik ten Hag, and if Erik ten Hag thinks that the potential is there with these players, and he thinks that these players can come into this Manchester United team and they can make a difference, then it needs to happen. You know, Erik ten Hag, I'm sure he's going to be talking to the board saying, right, I want this player, this player, this player, this player, make it happen. Whatever you got to do, I want these players through the door. I want to make sure these players are ready for me on this tour, so I can start working with these players, so I know what I got ready for the start of next season. That's what should be happening, because it happens at every club. It happens at Liverpool, it happens at Man City, it happens at Chelsea, it happens at Arsenal. They all know what players they want to bring in as soon as the end of the season. They all know where they need to strengthen, and I think this is where we're falling behind. We haven't got the transfer structure has never been there, and that definitely needs to change. Like I said, we need to spend £200 million. Is it going to happen? If the Quater Group come in, yes, it will, because the money will be there, and they will go out. Erik ten Hag is not going to go. He's not going to get every player he wants. You know, even if the Quater Group come in, they're going to say, whoa, hang on a second now. We're going to give you money, but we're going to be, we are going to be sensible. But you're going to have to sell players as well, and there are players who I think that should be sold who I think that should be sold in the summer. There's talk that Scott McTominay, there's stories out that he could potentially be joining Newcastle come next season. He's a good player. Is he good enough for Manchester United? No. We've seen glimpses where he's putting good performances for Manchester United, but he's not a Manchester United player. If he went to Newcastle, he would do very well at Newcastle. Harry Maguire, exactly the same, did brilliantly at Leicester City. Come to Manchester United, it's a much bigger pond. He struggled at Manchester United. Some fans rate him, a lot of fans don't. I know there's a lot of Manchester United fans who want to see him out the door. They don't want to see him at Manchester United next season. And he's, and if I'm being honest, and if I'm being totally honest, I don't want to see him at Manchester United next season, because he's not good enough. So there's going to be a lot of decisions, and there's going to be a lot of tough decisions that Erik ten Hag is going to have to make. There's been some fans that are saying that he's starting to get the best out of Fred. Again, I know there's a lot of fans out there who don't want Fred to be at Manchester United next season. I've criticised Fred a lot since he's been at Manchester United, and I've not wanted him at Manchester United, but I watched him at times this season, he's actually played really, really well. Is he good enough to go to that next level to where we should, is he good enough to take it to the next level? No, he's not. As you know, as much as some people might think he is, he's not good enough. He wouldn't, let's be realistic, he wouldn't get into a Liverpool starting lineup, he wouldn't get into Man City starting lineup, probably wouldn't get into Spurs, Chelsea starting lineup. You get into a Newcastle team, you get into a Brighton team, you get into an Everton team, but long term, we got to be, like I just went back on to say, we can't just be settling up, finishing top four every season. It is good enough. There's got to be progression. We can't be finished. There's got to be a point where we got to be challenging Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, whoever's in the title race next season. We got to be challenging them. I'm not sitting here and saying that we're going to go and win the Premier League next season, because I still think we're 2 or 3 seasons away from doing that. I still think there's players that we need to bring in. I think we've seen it at times this season where we've had injuries and suspensions, and we haven't had the right options to bring in. One of those players have been out, which has cost us points. We definitely need to have better options coming off the bench. I think we need to bring in players who are good enough, that can be good enough players who can be rotation players who may not play week in, week out, but players who are still good enough that can come off the bench and have an impact with 20 minutes to go. I think that's something that we've lacked for years. I think that needs to change. But let me know who you think that should. Let me know what type of players you think that should be coming into Manchester United this season. Do you think Harry Kane would be the right player? Do you not think he would be the right player? Do you think that we should be going for someone else? What players do you think that we should be getting rid of? Do you think David De Gea should be going? Do you think he deserves to sign a new contract? So yeah, leave your comments in the comment box below. Even though I do the videos, it's always good to hear what other fans have got to say as well. But we've had a really good season, but we've got to take that forward next season. There's got to be progression next season. We've got to make sure we're getting closer to whoever's in the title race, and making sure we're not 15-20 points behind whoever's in the title race next season. It's got to be a smaller margin, just something to work on for the next season. And just to end the video, I just want to thank you, the viewers, for continuing to watch the videos throughout the season. I haven't done as many videos as I liked due to work commitments. I haven't always been able to do the match reactions. Hoping to do a lot more videos next season. But even though I'm the one who makes the content, you're the ones who encourage me, who continues to encourage me to keep on making the content. So thank you all for watching. Thank you to everyone who subscribed to the channel this season. It's been fantastic. The channel's had fantastic support, and I also want to say thank you for Gavin, for coming on the channel and providing fantastic content throughout the course of the season as well. So it's all left to say is thank you all for watching throughout the course of the season. It's been a fantastic season. Let's hope next season is a better season as well. Enjoy your summer, Reds, wherever you're doing. We'll be back next season with more fantastic content. Take care, and we will speak to you soon.